Being an adult is well hard. You're essentially strapped to a slow-moving conveyor belt by the shackles of ever-increasing responsibility. Before you, an inexorable slide towards death. Behind you, the dwindling memory of days spent playing video games for 12 hours at a time. Now I have to do things instead, like laundry and tax returns and going to bed at a sensible time. Gone are the days when I could just get home, put my pyjamas on and play Final Fantasy until 3 AM. I mean, it took me nearly a year to clock up the 200 plus hours I needed for my first playthrough of The Witcher 3. First playthrough, as if I'm ever going to have the time to play it again. A milestone I'd genuinely have reached within a fortnight back in the days when I studied film and television at university. Thankfully, however, there are loads of fantastic games nowadays that don't require you climb mountains made of time in order to finish them. Games that are beautiful, magical and awe-inspiring, but that understand you've got to be up for work in the morning. Here are 7 such games you can totally finish in one sitting. First up is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, a wonderful fantasy adventure you can leisurely stroll through in about 3 hours, as soon as you've got used to the weird sensation of using both dual sticks to simultaneously control 2 characters. Stupid, stubborn adult brain keeps on thinking the right stick controls the camera. Or if you're really good friends with someone, you could snuggle up really close and share the DualShock, each controlling a separate brother. Either way, Brothers is a beautiful title, following the titular siblings on a quest to cure their dying father through an ever-changing landscape of picture-book visuals and lovely music. There's not really any challenge, your thumbs won't be put to the test and the puzzles are gentle, but that's not the point of Brothers. It's about the experience. Yes, I know, but it really is. Brothers proves you don't need levelling up or silver-haired lunatics hell-bent on the apocalypse to make a really good story. You can do just as well with a cheeky little scallywag smacking people on the arse. Did I say 3 hours? Make it 6. Next up is the Unfinished Swan, one of the most beautifully original games I've ever played, and again one that will only take you 3 hours or so to finish. The premise here is you can't see anything other than the golden footprints of the swan you're supposed to be following, until you start hurling paint everywhere, gradually revealing the topography of your environment. Also, you're inside a painting. Also, the game is about divorce. Also, it's really brilliant, so shut that voice in the back of your head right up and just play the Unfinished Swan, okay? Because you've never played anything like it. Your initial first-person paint gun switches to water later on, water you can use to make vines grow and progress through the level, which is clever and cool, plus the puzzles are ingenious and the story, while tinged with melancholy, is wonderfully heartwarming. Not bad for a game you can finish in the same amount of time it takes Dave to get ready in the morning.
Has anyone seen my coconut oil?
Sometimes when I come home after a long, hard day of writing really excellent scripts like this one, what I've written, I don't want story or puzzles or challenge. Sometimes I just want to look at some colours. And shapes, come on, are not that simple. And also listen to some pleasing sounds, and that's where Proteus comes in. This wonderful title is sort of undefinable. It's not bound by conventions of genre or even gameplay, really. You just sort of exist in it. You move around and look at stuff. Some of it makes noises and all of it looks pretty. Eventually the scene will shift and you'll be swept along with it, with each playthrough lasting no longer than 45 minutes or so. I've sat there before playing Proteus 4, 5, 6 times in a row even, just letting it wash over me and occasionally tweeting about it to make myself appear deep. But if I'm being perfectly honest, I just really like looking at it for a couple of hours every now and then. Our fourth entry is Limbo, and you really do have to think about this one, sorry. It's a bleak, monochrome, side-scrolling puzzler that should take you around 4 hours to finish, unless you suffer from crippling arachnophobia, in which case you'll probably play it for about 20 minutes and then never again, because of the thing happening on screen right now. I've made Limbo sound a bit nasty, haven't I? And that's because it is. But it's also intricately designed, gorgeous to look at, and so playable it just throws you in and lets you get on with it without even a whiff of tutorial. It's testament to how good Limbo is that I like it, because usually I just can't get on with things that are black and white. I don't know why. It just keeps on innovating time after time, the puzzles becoming harder and more complex until eventually you're fiddling with gravity mid-leap and, to be honest, wishing for the easy times of 2 hours ago when all you had to contend with was a giant spider with legs like hairy samurai swords. Next up is Firewatch, an achingly beautiful title from Campo Santo, set in the Wyoming wilderness of 1989. It's a setting that puts the game in real danger of not actually making this list, seeing as Firewatch gives you a disposable camera to play with and an utterly gorgeous sandbox at which to point it. Veer away from the story, which is doable in around 4 hours, and give those hiking boots a workout, and you could totally find yourself just gawking at the scenery for double that time. Credit to the writers of Firewatch then that the eerie and intriguing story pulls you through the game at a canter. As the mystery surrounding the area deepens, you'll find yourself completely hooked, unable to tear yourself away until the ending has happened and you're left there letting it all soak in, remembering the times you wrecked a teenager's radio or stood in a clearing listening to the air and the birds and thinking about how nice it can be sometimes just to be on your own. Talking of lonely, the only company you'll have in our penultimate entry, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, is spiritual echoes of the lost inhabitants of a small village given life by a mysterious golden light. What a beautifully haunting game this is, a near perfect recreation of rural England, but where the peace and quiet you'd expect has taken on a more sinister tone. Everybody's gone. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say, to the Rapture, and your task is to find out how and why. Dive deeper into the mystery and you'll unearth some truly harrowing stuff, like bloody tissues in this really dingy pub. But what really gets under your skin, especially for someone who genuinely does live in the middle of a field in Wiltshire, is the juxtaposition of the familiar with the unknown. There are no snarling monsters here, the horror is in the silence, cleverly turning one of Yorton's most desirable qualities into something to fear. Yeah, and you can finish it in like 5 hours too if you want. So here we are, nearing the end of our journey through another Friday feature. It's been a journey of discovery, filled with excellent games, and now the final entry on this journey through this landscape of... The final entry is Journey. This is my personal favourite PS3 game ever. It has everything, incredible visuals, a delightful soundtrack, a story hidden away in the beautiful environment just waiting to be discovered. But my favourite thing about Journey, and I always like to say this to people on press trips to sound clever, is that you've got the physical journey from here to there being a mountain hanging in the far distance, but there's also a visual journey from sun-kissed desert to icy mountaintop, from gloomy, hopeless depths to vivid sky paradise. And, no, I'm not done, and a musical journey from melancholy strings to euphoric strings. And most importantly, an emotional journey from wonder to joy to despair to elation. It truly is the most magical and complete 3 hours you'll spend on your PlayStation. So go and play it again, safe in the knowledge you'll still have time for the washing up afterwards. So there we go, 7 short but oh so sweet video games you can totally finish in one sitting. Let us know in the comments if you can think of any others. Click one of the links on screen to watch another Friday feature and subscribe so you don't miss any of the future ones. See you next week.